Here is a workshop, open and ready for play. But this shop has a secret inside. Can you guess what it is today? Why, it's Mr Pickwick. Is Stephen going to give you a makeover today? Oh, that is good news. Shall we go? We have some damage to the brim of his hat. I'll have to sort that out. And there's also a piece missing from the collar here. He's also missing his umbrella handle. I'll have to make a new one of those. From the top we can see a hole through the left hand. So at some point he's had a walking stick or a cane. I'll take some measurements and make a new one. He's obviously become detached from his base at some time and re-glued. There looks to be a bit of glue squeeze out here. If that's super glue or epoxy, I may end up damaging this trying to get it apart to remount, but I'll worry about that later. Before I do anything, I'm going to take samples of the colour of the overall finish. It looks like his bow tie was originally red, as well as this handkerchief, so I may reinstate that at the end. Well, better get stuck in. So the first thing to do is strip off the old finish. So I don't know what consistency the finish is, so I'm going to start off with some white spirit. If it's an oil based finish that's on there, that might do the trick. Failing that, I'll try some isopropyl alcohol, only because I've got some, and I'll give it a whirl. If that doesn't work, I'll use some acetone, and if that doesn't work, we'll just have to resort to some paint stripper. That's paint and varnish stripper. I'm going to use some cotton buds, some stiff small paintbrushes and a toothbrush. Don't worry about the toothbrush. I'll put that back later. She'll never know. Oh, that's my cup of tea. I experimented with the least aggressive white spirit, but it made no impression. I expected the isopropyl alcohol to have an effect, but it just lifted the dirt. The acetone did start to remove the finish, but it was going to be a long job, so I resorted to the paint stripper. Oh yes. Oh yeah, that's lifting off. Straight away, no problem. Don't even have to wait for it to work. Look at that. With a small stiff brush, I could work the stripper into all the nooks and crannies, and then use a dry brush to lift away the varnish. Once all the varnish had been removed, I washed the carving down in white spirit. This kills the action of the stripper and gets rid of any little bits that are left over. So what I have in mind is to flatten off this jagged edge on the rim of his hat and splice a new piece in. I've selected a matching piece of limewood and, with the grain texture and direction in mind, cut a piece to size.
A few seconds of pressure will squeeze the glue and help it grip. It's important to remove any squeeze out so the glue doesn't affect the existing carving and create more work later on. Gravity seems to suck really hard in my workshop, so a little tape to make sure the new piece doesn't move overnight while the glue dries feels like a good idea. I'm taking no chances. Perfect. I'm marking out all the excess material that needs removing, so I need a rough idea of where his hat is going to finish. I mark out what needs to be removed. If I remove too much, I'll have to start over, and I'd rather not do that. I feel a Trumpton song coming on. Do sing along. I love my job as a carpenter, there's nothing I'd rather be. I've had my tools for many a long years, they're all good friends for me. A mallet and drill are in my bag, a file and a gimlet too. Some baby sheets, a brace and bits, a bradawl and some glue. With some of the bulk removed, I can now start carving. As I go, I keep marking in the guidelines to help me stay on track. Now I'm getting closer to the finished result, I remove finer and finer shavings. Finally, blending in the new wood with the old with a fine file. Now it's time to tackle that collar that I spotted in the initial assessment. As I did with the hat, I flattened down the break so I can glue on a new piece of lime wood. Before paring it down to match. Finally, I blend in the new piece to the existing carving with a fine pointed tipped file. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The hat's looking good too. Now, let's sort that umbrella out. As the umbrella handle is quite small, I'm using a piece of straight grained beech, which will be stronger and less prone to damage or breakage. These small files do come in handy for very fine detailing work. I cut off the damaged handle and cleaned up the end, ready for the new replacement. That's the umbrella sorted, or so I thought.
I've just given him a wash down off camera to get rid of all the oil that's collected out of my skin while I've been holding him and repairing him, and I just spotted this right on the back of his umbrella.
I quickly made a new finial, drilled and glued it into place. I turned down the same beechwood to make the walking stick that I used for the umbrella handle, and here I'm gently sanding it. As I finish off the cap of the stick, I have to support the wood with my fingers. This wood is just over 3mm in diameter and easily broken. Don't ask me how I know this. This was my third attempt. Yeah, that looks good. Now if you remember, we have this wonky base to sort out. Initially, I thought the glue could have been super glue or epoxy, but if this damage is quite old, it could be an animal-based glue, so I'm giving it the heat treatment to see if this helps with separation. Success! I still can't decide what glue was used, but that doesn't matter now. Now all the repair work is done, the whole carving is sealed with an acrylic finish. This acrylic is worked well in and, to preserve the details, lifted out of all the nooks and crannies. The main objective is to seal the wood. Before I stripped the carving, I developed a combination of burnt umber and burnt sienna that closely matched the original finish, bearing in mind the years of accumulated grime and dirt. The carving was smothered in this oil-based medium to ensure 100% coverage. Because the wood has been sealed, I have plenty of time to manipulate the finish to give me the desired effect by wiping away, adding more and lifting out with a dry brush. Some may say that by removing the original finish, the piece has greatly been devalued. This may be so, but the estimated value was less than £100, and the owner preferred to have a refurbished ornament she could proudly show off rather than a broken, grimy object. One thing I've learnt in my life is to do as I'm told by a woman. She's over the moon with the repair work, the figure takes pride of place on display, and I still have a peaceful life. If you've made it this far, thank you. I'm not going to nag you to subscribe, like or comment. You've the ability to decide to do that for yourself. Thanks for watching, and the job's a good 'un.